The first time Jacob stood alone after Emily walked away, the sky had been as gray as his heart. They sat on the bench in the park where they'd shared their first kiss, the crisp autumn leaves swirling around them. Emily's eyes, so full of warmth before, were now cold as ice. "I just can't do this anymore, Jacob," she whispered, voice tight. "We can barely pay rent. I need more for our future." Jacob felt his world crumble. "I love you," he choked out, voice trembling. "Money isn't what matters." But Emily's lips pressed into a hard line. "I'm sorry," she said, eyes welling up. "I really am. But I need someone who can give me a life, Jacob. I need that." And just like that, she left. Jacob watched Emily's slender figure disappear into the crowd. Each step she took a hammer blow to his pride. That night, he locked himself in his tiny apartment and wept until dawn. All the dreams they built together, a cozy home, maybe children, evaporated with her goodbye. Years passed. Jacob threw himself into work, fueled by a quiet determination she would never believe him strong enough to muster. Day and night, he built his small tech startup from the ground up. He lived on coffee and hope, haunted by Emily's parting words. Every sleepless night he swore, "I will prove her wrong." Slowly, the company grew. Offices expanded, investments came. People whispered about the young CEO whose apps were changing the market. For Jacob, success tasted sweeter than any revenge. It was the answer to every doubt and pain Emily's words had sown in his soul. Still, there were moments he walked past a mirror and saw the man she had once loved, and wondered if she knew any of his story. He never chased her down, choosing instead to build something he could be proud of, for himself. One crisp spring morning, Jacob strode through the lobby of his gleaming office tower, briefcase in hand. Today was just another meeting with a partner, but fate had other plans. At the reception, a familiar laugh drifted over the hushed hum of business. It was a laugh that once felt like sunlight to him. He stopped dead. Emily stood there, elegant in a business-casual dress, chatting animatedly with a younger man in a sharp suit. They were both laughing about something. The sight stilled Jacob's breath. Emily's husband, the man beside her, was loud about his pride in working at Jacob's company, pointing up to the top floors where Jacob's office lay. "I can't believe I get to say I work here," he bragged, voice full of excitement. "My boss is a genius, you know. Mr. Cahill runs the whole place." Emily's eyes sparkled as she met Jacob's gaze for the first time. Recognition flickered, then vanished, replaced by something like annoyance. "So," she said, interrupting, "you work for that guy, Mr. Cahill? I remember he used to be in some tech startup, right?" She laughed lightly, unaware that she was speaking to the man himself. "I had a friend who dated him back in the day." Poor kid was always struggling. Jacob's heart thudded. She remembered his name, at least. Mr. Cahill. Standing just a few feet away on polished marble floors, he looked like any businessman heading to a board meeting. Emily eyed him up and down, trying to place him. "Funny," she remarked with a small smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I always thought people who talk about the future so much don't have anything going on now. Guess I was right, huh?" Her husband laughed awkwardly, and Jacob felt a bitter irony wash over him. Emily, not recognizing the man who had loved her, was dismissing him, publicly. "Are you okay, love?" her husband asked, patting her shoulder. "I'm sorry she's being rude." Emily flicked an irritated look at her husband. "Rude? I wasn't being rude." She flushed, clearly embarrassed but trying to cover it with a forced grin. "Just surprised to see old acquaintances, that's all." Jacob took a slow step forward. His heart hammered, but his face was calm. "Emily," his voice was quiet, though she could still hear it. Is that you?" Her face blanched. Time seemed to freeze for her as she stared at Jacob, the man she once left behind in tears. Recognition dawned. Her eyes widened. "Jacob?" He nodded, just standing there in the well-tailored suit that Emily never would have believed he could wear back then. "It's me." Emily's polite composure crumbled. "Oh my God," she whispered. "It can't be. Jacob, you look..." Her voice shook as realization hit. The man she sneered at, not 5 feet from her, was the same young man she had run away from. She swallowed hard. Her husband took a step back, confusion on his face. "Is she your girlfriend?" he asked, gesturing between them. Jacob managed a sad smile. "She was." Emily's eyes darted around the lobby, suddenly noticing how glossy the floors were, how massive the building. You're here? You work here?" She stammered, not sure what to say. He shook his head slowly. "I'm the CEO." A breath hitched in Emily's throat. The irony was suffocating. She, who had once abandoned a struggling artist, was now married to a man who worked for that very man who had become exactly what she said he would never be. For a moment, silence hung heavy. Then, Emily's hands went to her mouth. Jacob, I never knew. I mean, I had no idea." Before she could continue, Jacob held up a hand, gentle but firm. "Emily, it's okay." She bit her lip, the tears of humiliation pricking her eyes. I'm so sorry. I didn't know." Words tumbled out, each one soaked in regret. "I can't believe this is happening. I left you because I thought I needed something more. Now I see. I have everything I ever wanted, but it feels hollow somehow." Jacob felt a strange calm as he listened. The weight of pain she'd caused him so many years ago had faded. He was stronger, a man she never expected him to become. "You have everything, Emily?" he asked softly. She raised her eyes to his, desperate for understanding or maybe forgiveness. "I thought I did," she admitted, tears finally spilling free. "But seeing you now, it makes me wonder what I gave up. You're a success, and I'm just..." The husband, unable to stand by quietly, stepped forward. "Emily, talk to her." Emily shook her head, staring at the ground. "I deserve that. I left him because I thought I needed a better life. And look," she gestured to her husband. "I did, sort of. But this, seeing you here, it's crushing, Jacob. I never meant to be heartless." Jacob felt sympathy. He remembered how much he still loved her back then, even as she walked away. He rested a hand lightly on her shoulder. "I'm glad you apologized." Emily looked up, confusion knitting her brow. "What do you mean? Why are you being so nice?" He gave her a gentle smile. "Because I remember what it felt like to lose someone I loved. It hurt, a lot. But I also remember this moment. I always hoped I'd run into you someday. Not to embarrass you, but to tell you that I'm okay. That I'm more than okay." Her husband finally blurted out, "So you really are Mr. Cahill?" Jacob nodded. "I am." He turned to the husband. "Thank you for being a good man to Emily." Then he turned back to her. "I am happy, truly. I've built something of my own, and I hope you are happy too." Emily's eyes were shining, full of a mix of remorse and something like relief. She realized the balance of fate. She had hurt him once, and now it was her who looked small in the shadow of the man she never respected. I am happy," she whispered. "Thank you for not being angry." Jacob's heart lifted. He squeezed her shoulder. "It's all right. Take care of yourself." He turned and walked away to his car, head held high. Behind him, he heard Emily sniffle and her husband apologize. In the driver's seat, Jacob exhaled, a gentle smile curving his lips. For so long he had carried the bitterness, but now it was gone. He had heard the apology he never thought he'd hear, faced the woman who once broke his heart, and walked away with his dignity intact. Meanwhile, Emily stood in the lobby, watching him leave, her life turning in her mind like the wheels on his car. She had everything, but she felt like she'd lost something she could never get back. Outside, Jacob looked up at the building towering above. It was the same city they once dreamed of conquering together, but it was he who now seemed to stand at the top. In the distance, a soft breeze carried a hint of spring promise. He felt free. Free not because he was wealthy or successful, but because he had truly moved on. Their past had been painful, but it had led him to this moment, standing tall. And he knew, finally, that walking away from Emily that day was the first step toward this future he had built. The ending, ironically, was everything he needed it to be.